หัวแล้วเป็นยังคือบ่บอกแนมเบิ่งเจ้าเธอใดอ้ายก็คิดสิอยากตอบอยากบอกน้องอีลาคำแพงขนาดบ่ได้จับอ้ายก็ยังมีแฮงเจ้านั้นมีผัวอย่ามาตัวอ้ายอย่ามาตัวอ้ายอย่ามาตัวอ้ายเจ้านั้น
Welcome back to Wuz Good. My name is Raymond Acosta. This is a little bit unfamiliar to you. Sometimes when we pop onto these episodes and somebody else comes through and it's not Eric, people got a little bit, their heads are scratching a little bit. But today I'm doing a late afternoon episode here because I have been trying to get this gentleman right here on the screen, just to my right, to my left. I don't know where he's at right now with my actual visual, but I've been trying to get him off for a while. He was referred to me by the Sabaidee Fest group. And if you're not familiar with that, we're actually going to go into that a little bit further. But as I dug in, I started taking a look at who he is. He's a digital, he's a content creator on IG and also on other socials. And I started looking into it, and there's definitely beyond the actual connection with Sabaidee Fest itself. I started a lot of the stuff that he was doing on his socials started really resonating with me. The topic itself and just his service to the community. And that's when I wanted to dig a little bit further. Me as a transplant here from Washington State in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I've been pretty much integrated into the Lao community over here, very welcoming. And I think, and I've had a few questions here and there. And so I wanted to actually have him on, have some conversations with him, get his point of view, and I think he's the right person. The gentleman's name is Jimmy. Jimmy, how do you say your last name, bro?
Saysiry, bro.
Saysiry?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can find him on the socials as @LaoDaddy. So I'm going to actually have him give you a little bit of a background on exactly what he does in his content and everything, and a little bit of stuff in between so we can get to know him.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, Ray. Thanks for bringing me on, dude. So, just to say, keep it short, keep it simple, keep it sweet. I go by LaoDaddy on social media. I've been making content for probably like 3-4 years now. Honestly, it started off as just for a fun thing for our community because of COVID, Then started linking up with other content creators that wanted to make videos and stuff. And then we came together, made our group, and it's been blowing up ever since, man. Like everyone has their representation. Finally, we're, getting a little shine of that limelight now.
Yeah. So COVID, it's always, we've had quite a few people pop up on here. And even so, and myself and Eric, who's usually, my co-host on here, it always goes back to that. And COVID really did bring a lot of things to light. And I think that's one of the silver linings that came out of it, right? To where people just kind of got into themselves, started feeling a little bit like, it's a threatening of just what's next. And you got to like start soul searching at that point. And I think, and same with you, that's kind of what brought it up, right?
Yeah, honestly, that is what brought it up. It was just, man, to be honest, it was that boredom, You're just stuck at home. You don't have anything, dude. Yeah. So, you're looking at social media, you're looking at other things, you're watching things, you're like, oh, man, that's funny. And, I thought to myself one day, I was like, what would my dad say if I wanted to go outside during COVID, So I just recorded a video of me pretending to be my dad, getting mad that I wanted to go outside and go get McDonald's for like COVID, and when I need to be safe. And then, it picked up on social media. Lao Supply picked it up, and it just blossomed from there.
Lao Supply. So talk about them. Who I'm not very familiar with them at all, to be honest with you.
Gotcha, man. Yeah. So Lao Supply is our benefactor for most of our content creating. Initially, when we first started, it was all during COVID. Lao Supply was actually a online clothing company, just specializing in Laos culture and clothing, so that was the big thing. Lao Supplies, so long he reached out, he's like, hey man, I really like your content, because he always reposts everyone's stuff, to keep the culture alive.
Dope.
And with him reposting us, he was like, hey, I want to sponsor you guys. So sent us like some dope gear and stuff to make during our videos, and just kept pushing us to do more and more and more to get us to the point where we're at now. Because before it was just for fun.
Yeah.
Now it's like, hey man, I got to do it for us because no one else is gonna do it.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is one of those things to where you're gonna have, and that's what I initially noticed in the older community of like when the content creators on like YouTube, not even YouTube, it was like Insta back then still, and this was pre what do you call that? Pre what's that thing? The TikTok, pre-TikTok, and you still had like these Vine videos, and you had a bunch of these kids over in Cali started doing their little things, and then they started to bond together,
Right.
creating that, you know, their little community group. That other channel that I believe you're part of, sub I
Yes.
would butcher it.
So like like
Macabre.
when they get mad at you, parents get mad at you, they clock you on the head like some.
Okay.
Like,
That one,
yeah.
it's a collaboration, or is it just what is that one?
Yeah, so that one initially started off as a collective of
Mhm.
us content creators. So when we first started, it started with one content creator. Her name is Victoria, and her handle is that one Lao girl. So initially, she first started everything, and then she started reaching out to all of us so we could all come together and help each other come up with ideas for videos and all that stuff. So it actually really helped out a lot that we made that group. And with that group, we started posting all of our stuff on there together, doing collaborative things together, and then started slowly integrating, other people in and just sharing their content because, everyone has a different view of how their lives go being Laos.
So now you guys have progressed quite a bit in such a short time and doing something like this. I mean, that's okay. So let's talk about how that moved forward, and then how it ended up connecting to Sabaidee Fest, and talk about that just a little bit, and then we'll move forward with the other stuff.
Yeah. So with that step forward, we had a good community of content creators. So then we had people that were being followed, that people would just always want to see their videos, to see when the next content's coming out, and then it was relatable. So with that, the dream, the vision was like, hey, we can't just stop at making just online content. Let's do more. Let's have a guy that cooks. We got Harris, Mr. International.
Yes.
We have A Bebe, was on TV, and then we got people who are just more informative. We have more people that do comedy, just like myself, or we just have all different kinds of things out there to share. So with us building that and building that and building that up, it's just like, hey, what's the next step for us? Well, we do want representation for our music, just like all the other cultures have. And we've been listening to this music. Let's bring these artists over, not just for a concert, but like let's do it big. So the idea of the Sabaidee Fest just came around because it was supposed to be, we're making cooking content, we're making comedy, we're gonna do multimedia. Why not just go in all out, start making festivals?
Yeah. When that first came out, when there was word of that, it was what, 21?
Yeah, 21.
21. And when that first came out, there was a buzz, and I had no clue what the heck it was. And then there was more and more. And then finally, when it came here to DF Dub, I saw it firsthand. It wasn't even really just, it wasn't the actual event itself, which was, it was successful in this area. Definitely. I mean, you guys were at one of the bigger and newer venues, as far as where to perform and everything like that. But then just it wasn't just that, it was the buzz, and it was just the reaction, and just the welcoming of how the group was down here. And I think a lot of those performers were also legit from Laos. You guys just brought them down here. I don't even know how you guys make that work. So there's a sponsor, you sponsor them, and I'm sure there's a lot of red tape around that, right?
Bro, it was so hard. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Like,
that's wild.
Getting their passports, getting their visas, getting them, shows, booked, concerts ahead of time. We're promoting all this ahead of time before they're even here, and we're trying to make sure it happens. It was a hassle, but bro, like pushing through, seeing it at, now looking back, it's just like, damn, we did that. But
you did that,
dude, it was so stressful.
Y'all did that. So and the fact that their music, when they finally came down here, when their music stayed around, and it was, they weren't really like super well known or anything like that, right? But then you guys introduced them to the areas that you actually touched. And again, it was one of those things to where there was this one song, I'm not gonna sing it, but then there was this one song that just you already know which one it is, but it just stayed around town. People were still kind of humming it in their heads, and I was like, God dang! And you guys did that. You guys brought these. I think there were a bunch of like the kids from the province, right? And they just decided to come up with their own, like, again, COVID. They started making their own videos and everything like that, and then you guys saw them and as a group, and you said, you know what, we're gonna bring this talent over here because number one, they're very deserving of the of the notoriety. And I think it's such an undertaking to even be like, you know what, we're going to go through all the motions to bring these guys over. Like you said, the passporting, bookings, the shows. You didn't even know how they were going to be accepted. Like, yeah, especially, it's rare that you have, names that aren't very well, known, very much known out there, and to sell it out. You guys sold stuff out, like when you guys were touring.
Yeah, man. Selling out on the tour is always amazing, but then it's always scary too, because it's like, damn, like a lot of people are messaging us like they didn't get tickets in time. Should we open a second day? Should we open a second day? Damn. Should we open a third day? There was even discussions like, hey, do we need to do 3 days?
Yeah.
Like, dang, so it's crazy, like how the hype that we built around them actually worked in our favor, because then they realized like, hey, this is who we got out here. It's rare that we get them out here. Like, let's make the best of this,
Wow. So your involvement with them, was it? Were you there at the Sabaidee Fest, the group itself at that inception, or were you just kind of brought in like, hey, listen, there's this group that's also like in this uprising here. We should definitely get them involved. How did that happen?
No, yeah, dude. So I was actually at the ground floor of like all the dreams of it coming to life. We like the idea of it, just like how everyone else is skeptical on the outside. We were skeptical as well, because like, damn, can we really do this? But it's the drive and the passion from our Juana, which means like our boss, our big head honchos. With the drive and the push from him is like, hey man, like, if we don't do it, who's gonna do it for us? And he was right.
Love that.
Yeah. So with that, dude, at the ground floor, it was just an idea at first, and then the idea just started becoming into motions, and with motions, came into like being active about it, doing something about it, launching it, and it was scary for sure, because like, damn, like a lot of people are like, oh, how most people are like, oh, like you do it your first year, we'll see how it goes, and then I'll support you next year,
Yeah,
because like they don't really want to see you fail, but they don't want to help you fail either.
Was there any feeling that would we be representing the culture? Would we be representing it properly if we put it out there like that, right? And was there any even pushbacks from the elders?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So, Ray, are you a first generation American?
I am.
Okay, so I am as well, right? I'm first generation American. I think I speak fluent Laos pretty well, right? But in comparison to people from Asia, when they hear us speak, they're like, oh, you don't speak that well. When over here, we're like, bro, we speak great, So yeah, that little crossover that we need to get past is like the hardest part, because we think we're representing our culture, our ethnicity correctly, but maybe we're not doing it in the traditional terms of like, oh, we wouldn't do it that way, we wouldn't do it this way. But yeah, at the same time, we want to honor our family, honor our our past. So it is a hard thing, because we're just going off of what we know, what we were taught as kids, going to the temple and stuff. But we also just want to throw a little bit of like, hey, it's like a little new school thing. It might not be traditional, but it's along those lines.
How does the OGs feel about that? It's like, because I've been to Laos also. I know how just the culture itself is so deep, especially like you had mentioned. I think one of the strengths in the Southeast Asian communities is the temples. Like us, for the bigger cities, where there is the community centers and also church for the Filipino community. That's where the roots are. But if you don't have something like that, I mean, over here in the DF area, there's like there's like 4 or 5 of them, 4 or 5 of the temples. And of course, the bigger ones over here in Saginaw, and also there's a huge one in Rockwall. There's still a lot of that preservation of the original culture and everything like that. How does, when they found out, you know, when your parents or when the aunts and the uncles found out, did they feel that it was going to work, or were they just like, whatever, these kids are just doing whatever they're going to do?
All right. So my dad, he's always been supportive of me ever since I was young. I told him I always wanted to be famous. You know, I was back in the day, I was on YouTube trying to make YouTube vlogs. I thought I was going to be a rapper on MySpace.
I seen you rapping. I was like, uh-oh, got a little bit here.
So I thought I was trying to find everything to try to do everything. But my dad, like I said, he's always been supportive. People actually love it when he's in my videos. He goes by the name Kingpin. And they love him. It. Yeah. So
y'all got to peep it out. His videos is like with riding in the car, just hanging out with pops. I love that. I freaking love it, just because it crosses over, and they also get introduced to this particular part of the world, right?
Right.
You sit there and you have him watch the have him watch your videos you posted, and he's got like so many likes. I'm like, people actually like what we're doing.
Wild. people really like it. But like I said, my dad always been supportive. He loves the videos. He loves doing the videos with me. But then I also have other family members that watch my videos. And they, they don't have the most nicest things to say. Not that it's like mean, but it's more constructive than anything. They're like, oh, like, yeah, I see that you're doing that, but I don't know if I want to go. It might not work out. I'm like, it's not going to work out with that kind of attitude.
Yeah,
we need more support than anything. But you can't change everyone's mind. You can just only prove them wrong at the end.
Absolutely, it is, and that's the bravest part of what you guys did. And and the success that came out of that in this year, and in this year, it's bigger. It's I mean, of course, growth is going to be what you expect, especially the returns and the acceptance and the excitement that you guys generated. So how many cities last year?
Oh, geez, can't even keep counting. I'm not even gonna lie to you, dude. There was so many because we
just throw them out there. The biggest ones that come to mind. I know you guys did your thing last year.
We went up to Minnesota. We did a whole bunch of cities in California. We did Texas. We did try to do other big Lao community cities. It was just the logistics of it, and it was also during Lao New Year, which made it really hard because like you can't really ask people to leave the temple to come to a concert. Like that's hard. Like I wouldn't even want to leave. You know what I'm saying? But dude, we looked at it, the logistics wise, and it was just like, all right, we got to hit where we think that people can, would be willing to drive to. So when we thought of like Oklahoma, we thought of Arkansas, we thought of Kansas, we thought of New Orleans, Louisiana. We're like, okay, we can do Texas. Texas is in the middle. It's the biggest Lao New Year. Most people will come for the Lao New Year itself anyway. Yeah. Like, we just had to like group it in. So that's how we decided that this past year. And then with Minnesota, a big Lao community, big Hmong community up there. California, obviously the biggest Lao community in all of the United States. So they up and down the coast was easy. But this upcoming year, this tour, we're looking at expanding and trying to do more cities that we missed out on, because it's just like we see the people comment and they're like, hey, like we really wish you came here. We could have did this for you, could have did that for you. And we don't want to hold back our culture from ourselves. We want to share it. But we got to make it work this time around.
It's a great problem to have, but honestly, it is one of those things. I mean, it's one thing to have, to have that initiative, and again, I commend that, because I mean, it's just especially in communities where that's too big of an undertaking. Just like the whole mentality, it was like, yeah, maybe there's so much like maybe it won't work, but it just. There was that group of you guys that actually said, you know what, let's do this. Let's do the damn thing. What's the worst that's going to happen, right?
Right.
But then that the scarier part is now, can we keep this going? Because so many other people want to see us now. Right. And on top of that, I think you've also expanded it. Like the entertainment is now more Southeast Asian. I saw Vanna is coming.
Right. Yeah, we
That's
had it on
huge from the
roster.
Cambodian community.
Huge, dude. So, you like, have you been to the Cambodian temple down here in the DFW?
The one over in, where is that one? I did the one last year I went to. What's it called? What city?
The in the Irving.
Is it the one in Irving? I forget. I went to the one. It was all outdoor. There's just, well, it's all outdoor. But then there was
like the big silver entrance, right?
Yeah.
So that's the biggest temple in the United States, from what I've been told. And obviously, you've seen it. It's beautiful, you know.
Yeah, the entrance itself. There's a lot of like it's super paved in a lot of the areas, and then there's that opening with the grass areas, and then the performance.
Yeah,
that one was fun.
Yeah,
that was actually, I had a lot of fun in that one, just because it was also a lot more modern as far as the performances.
But yeah, so the reason why we started including more and more in was the fact that, hey, we are Lao, but we're trying to represent ourselves as a Southeast Asian festival. And so since we're trying to communicate it as a Southeast Asian festival, we can't just hold back just to ourselves, we need to be inclusive, because these other countries don't get representation either, like we need it. So we're like, oh, we're not just gonna say ethnically just Lao, like, we're gonna add in Hmong, or on top of Hmong, let's do Cambodian, let's reach out. Like, we even had a Linda Trang Dai come perform last year at Sabaidee, and that was awesome, dude.
She looks great.
Super bro, she does, right?
She looks great. She's up there in Asian, and when I saw it, I was like, is that Linda? And then I was tripping, man. I was like, you guys are really putting people out there that at getting them to the actual audience that actually so much appreciated them to begin with, rather than super mainstream, right? That's wild.
Yeah, and then we're giving up and coming artists their shots too. Like, it's just crazy. Like my boy Dana Mar, he's doing really good over here in the States, bro. He just got sent over to Laos to go make music in Laos. Like, that's how well he's doing.
That's wild.
Wild, dude. So he's doing that. One of my close friends, he's a producer named Remy. He's been working with I brought him on this year with the Sabaidee Fest team. He's been the producer, and he's been helping making the instrumentals and stuff for the artists. And he's actually in Laos right now too, making more music. So, like, we're just a whole bunch of things in the works right now just to blow this all up.
Yeah, I can't. It'll be interesting to see what the final kind of tour dates ends up being. Yeah, definitely. I saw the flyers, and I've reposted some of the flyers and everything like that. And that's why I reached out to the group, the actual IG page of the group. And they're like, that's when they had me sent to you. But I saw way more influencers and influencers, content creators, and also performers that were actually put out there. So yeah, it's very, very exciting what you guys are doing this year. Good luck. Good luck. Y'all are just booming right now. And that's something like that. I'm hoping that, especially now that you guys have actually expanded to the additional, that just more of the Southeast Asian culture, like you said, I think there definitely needs to be a little bit more light in that.
But I'm saying we have a lot of artists that we're bringing in too, So we're bringing in Thai. I forgot about that. We're bringing in Thai artists. So, like, we're gonna have a big Thai community that's gonna be out there that we're gonna be performing for. Even though Lao correlates to Thai, but at the same time, Thai is specific to Thai, Lao is specific to Lao.
No, that's dumb, man. So quick, so let me kind of like take a sidestep on this thing. You had mentioned a few people. I think you said A Baby, and Mr. International. I saw him last year. He's very entertaining. Are you related to what's his name actually?
Am I Harris, related to Harris? No. So I'm actually not.
I saw
related
like a little. I saw a video of. I saw one of your posts. I was like, "What the heck?" Y'all just were kicking it.
Yeah, me and Harris are actually really good friends.
Is that right?
Yeah. So he used to come down and visit me in Texas. I visited him up there in California. A is the same way. I visit her in San Diego a lot. She would come down here and visit me in Texas. She was, like I said, she was just here 2 weeks ago.
She was just here.
Yeah.
Who makes the better papaya salad? You can play the fifth if you want.
Dude, I don't even know, man.
If you guys don't know who A is, A was on the Gordon Ramsay show, and she was out there, and people called me out on. There's like, yeah, there's this Lao girl like not even Thai. She's this Lao girl on the Gordon Ramsay show. I forget what it's called. But then we
Next
watched her
Level
few
Chef.
episodes. Yeah, Next Level Chef.
Yeah.
Next Level Chef. And she's over here with, one of the goats, and she was holding her own.
So you know how we talked about how it's scary to be the first one to do something, like just like doing Sabaidee Fest?
Yeah.
Like that's her, She was the first one to do Next Level Chef, and she had to keep that thing under wraps. Like she didn't even tell me until weeks of being in it. So she was like, I'm really scared. I was like, hey man, you know what, do what you gotta do. No matter what, we always gonna support you, And ever since then, dude, I knew her when she had less than 2,000 followers. Now she's like over 144,000.
Yeah.
Like it's just like maybe you don't believe in them right then and there, but dude, the drive, the push that they have, it just like you'll see it. At the end of the day, you'll see it.
You guys have so much traction, and we were talking about this a little bit before we even started recording. It's starting to accelerate so quick on what's going on. Just not even especially Lao, because I was talking about this on another pod. I think one of the main things, at least with Laos itself, right, when they finished the railroad, that railway from China all the way to Laos, I think that's going to open up a lot more of the tourisms. Not that it wasn't already. I watch a lot of, me and my wife and I just sit there and watch a lot of videos and walkthroughs of Laos, and just like, hey, we were there and everything like that. But now there's more and more and more. So there's surge of attention, and there's also this separation that's starting to be, usually, like you had mentioned, it's like even a lot of the restaurants around, it's Thai Lao cuisine. Now there's just more Lao, and I think and Mr. Harris is actually helping that quite a bit.
Yeah, they're definitely the frontliners for that, for sure. They're more outspoken about their dishes. They're more, bro. So we're Asian. We don't measure.
No, there's no measuring. It's just eyeballing it and tasting. It's like, no, we need more here.
Yeah, right. We pour until our ancestors tell us that's enough. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all we do. So that's what we got. These guys, they have it down to a science, because I call it a science just because like they're willing to give you measurements, give you instructions. I'm like, hey man, do this, do this, do this. How much do I put? I don't know. Just put until you think it's good enough.
Yeah.
No, and it's just just having that really builds us to the next level of being more mainstream, because that's what mainstream wants. Something more, instructed, more solidified.
Yeah, that was one of the things that, again, very brave, that when A was on Next Level Chef or Top Level Chef, I forget what it was.
Next Level Chef.
Next Level Chef. A lot of the dishes, so you're basically provided, these ingredients and everything like that, and you have to put together a dish. Like all of her stuff was Lao. Like she put every single, every little touch and everything like that. And that's brave as heck, especially, I know Gordon's been to Thailand before. And I remember he started cooking a whole bunch of all these different dishes, particularly try to match up the taste and everything like that. But to put that into the mainstream,
Gordon Ramsay's pad Thai dish, bro.
That one pad Thai dish where the chef was like, that don't taste good. But now she was schooling. So Lao food obviously is right now a lot of these recipe videos or recipe posts on Insta and I keep TikTok. Aside from food, as far as for Lao representation, what's another vehicle that you're seeing right now that we're not seeing, that's putting Lao people out there, the Lao community out there?
Oh man, there's a lot of things in the works that are just a little bit, I wouldn't say top secret right now, but it's like it needs to blossom on its own. So there's a lot of things in the works. I'm not saying for myself, but for our people in general, that I know that people are doing. That is just like, we're just like, hey, we don't want to jinx it. We're not gonna say anything out loud, but like it's gonna happen when it happens. And that's I know that for a fact for a few of my friends actually that are. Like they see that drive, they have that push, and all they needed before was just like someone to believe in them. And now it's just like, hey, now that we believe in you, run it, let's do it. But I can say that to push everything forward, to make everything mainstream, now we got people doing documentary videos of Laos and of us. You know, people opening up instead of Thai restaurants, opening up Lao restaurants, just like you said. Starting up other businesses specifically catering to the Lao influence.
Yeah. Isn't that wild, man?
Yeah, it's wild. It's crazy. It's amazing how everything is booming, you know, because back in the day, till let's say 15, 20 years ago, anytime you go to Lao New Year's, you would always just buy a shirt that had a 3-headed elephant on it, you know, and that was it. And now, bro, we got like the coolest shirts, like, you know, like always Sabaidee, you know, like we didn't have that back then. And now we're like doing a little bit more stuff, making it a little bit more street clothing that people would wear on a daily basis, not wear just at home.
Yeah. So you're saying that you guys have a few things on the wraps as far as like, you know, eventually what's going to be coming out there. Oh man. So that's crazy. So, I wanted it. So real quick, just a little side, just a side question here. I was on a crossover episode with one of the podcasts over here, Drunken Elephant. You guys peep them out.
Yeah.
I asked them Lao or Laotian as far as when you say yourself, and I've always wondered about that, and I was like, you know, I know about the Laotian, and but then my wife says it's Lao, and then but then you hear other people actually say for you actually are also very involved in the temple community. I believe you go over the at the Saginaw temple and do some stuff there. So you're the right person to ask, in your opinion. You let me know.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I am very active in the community here in the DFW area. I do go to the temple a lot. I help out. Was it a couple years ago? We had a summer camp for the kids, so they could learn to read, write, and have conversational Lao, as well as learn traditional instruments, traditional songs, and dances. So we taught all of them within 1 week. And what's crazy about the kids are that they love it, they want to learn it, and they're like sponges, bro. They picked it up so quickly.
Exactly how I was gonna say it.
Yeah. So it was so crazy that, you know, just me being involved in that, seeing all that, it was just like, why would I want to stop this, you know? So, but back to what you were asking. I grew up always saying Laos, you know, with the S. I never knew that I was saying it wrong until I got into what I am into now, you know, being more passionate and more traditional about my culture and ethnicity. So I like to call myself Lao instead of Laotian, because I feel like a Laotian is more of a Western term for us, you know, just to like make it a little bit more easygoing and more understanding whenever you speak to someone. But for me, I call myself Lao because my dad is Lao, my mom is Lao, I'm Lao, you know.
Perfect. And that's also what I was thinking of. I mean, and mind you, I'm not trying to correct anyone. I'm not trying to like, who's this Filipino guy try to like, you know, make corrections or anything like that. I just want to ask the right people, the people that are actually, you know, in the mix, and neither is wrong. If you want to present yourself one way or another, it's like I'm Filipino, I'm Pinoy, stuff like that. It's the same thing.
Neither is wrong. Both are completely correct, you know. And I respect either way that if someone represents themselves. I just know that for me, I want to represent myself as Lao, but I feel like the shift with the future coming up, it's the term Laotian is probably going to be more used than Lao will be, just because that's going to be a more fitting term for, you know, how we would expand as a community.
Do you think as more content creators, more Lao content creators, and I'm sure there's going to be also a lot of crossovers, you know, to other communities and everything like that. Do you think there's a chance? I mean, of course, there's always going to be a chance, but do you think it preserves itself as it grows?
Oh, damn.
Because there's a lot of things that touch it, right? And then before you know what you're doing, do you think you're putting it out there, it gets big, you got more people involved, then you got these remixings. Is there fear that it actually could go to the way to where we're not preserving anymore? And it goes back to the OGs where they're like, what do you got? You know, why are you guys acting like that? And that's supposed to be like this.
Yeah, dude, 100%. It is going to change. It is going to be different. And I can say that through personal experience myself, is because when I started making all the videos, my videos started getting back to Laos, and all those people were watching and they were commenting, in Lao and everything. And one of the comments I'll never forget is like, "Oh, he doesn't speak Lao good." And then someone wrote a comment right below that, and they're like, "Oh, he's speaking Lao American. He's not speaking real Lao." And yeah, when I saw that comment, I was like, "Damn, that caught me," But I mean, it resonates with me because, like, yeah, you're right. I'm not 100% traditional. I'm just traditional to what I know, to myself. But that doesn't mean that there's never room for growth. I'm never gonna stop some other content creator from creating what they want by what they know. That's just what they know, and that's how we're gonna grow. That we can't bring someone down because it's not to our liking.
I had this particular topic in conversation a couple pods ago with Eric, and we were talking about just the traditions. We're talking about like Christmas traditions in the Philippines and everything like that, and even just all these little things. But I asked the question, it was like, how many generations removed will it be until our grandkids,
Ooh.
how many generations removed before we actually fully assimilate to the Western civilizations and Western traditions here in the US, and we lose our original traditions, right?
Right.
I mean, for example, a lot like when the Europeans came over here and settled, I mean, they started creating their own traditions and holidays and everything like that, and no longer really celebrated in the forefront what they were celebrating back home. What's your thought on that? I know it's very strong, like culture and religion is very, very strong in the Lao community, but do you feel that it's in what you're doing? Also, you're teaching these kids, and that's the wonderful part. You're doing your part to keep it going. But what do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
Dude, it's scary, honestly. Like,
It
honestly, like,
is.
it's scary. Do you have kids?
I have 3 boys,
You have 3 boys.
and they're
Do
Lao and
you?
Filipino,
All
so
right.
they're gonna be involved in both cultures.
So just a quick question for you, just so I
Sure.
can get the question going. For your kids, do they both learn Lao and Tagalog?
I'm a bad Filipino father in that particular aspect. So when I came to the US, and here's kind of my story. When I came to the US, my grandma um wanted me to fully assimilate to where I that she didn't even want me to have an accent. I came here with my grandma when I was 6 years old. She said, in order for you to, be fully accepted, and it might have been a fault of her own, but it also helped me out quite a bit. Just to be in inner circles. She wanted me to fully, speak English in the right manner and like enunciate properly. And I kind of just had that mentality, right? When I first had my kids, my parents spoke to them in Tagalog, which is basically my language. I still understand it and everything like that. I never fully taught my kids, and mind you, if when I've got a Lao wife, Filipino, and myself as a Filipino, and then also English, and then you also have to pick up another language in school and everything like that. It's hard. So I didn't even really try to bother in that particular aspect because I didn't want to just convolute so many things, right? So that's kind of like the long answer to that. They know particular words here and there. They understand, like, just like the crossovers on both on Lao words and also in the Filipino words. But no, they don't. They can't carry a sentence.
Gotcha.
They can't carry a sentence.
And yeah. So when you say the generations down the line, that's what I also think of as well. Is like, first off, is it gonna be? Are they gonna have to assimilate into Western culture? And with them assimilating is like, hey, do we need you to have a stronger influence of Western culture so you're not messed with or you're not making any waves or anything? Because our parents, when they first came here, they told us as first generation Americans is like, hey, don't ever act up, don't ever be bad, don't get in trouble with the law, keep your head down, just do your job, and that's what they always did. But nowadays, bro, like if I would have did that, I would have never been Loud Daddy. I would have never done social media, and we would never be talking today. So times do change. Traditions or mannerisms of being traditional do change because you got to grow with your surroundings, got to grow with your environment. But for future generations, do I see it declining? as being a strong kind of sense for heritage and culture. Yeah, probably, more than likely. But that doesn't mean that there isn't going to be a few out there that are just, really just like, hey, I want to understand more about my culture. I want to keep it alive. So there are those exceptions to that. But for the mass majority, of course, man, like, we don't live in Southeast Asia anymore. We live in America. We gotta confine to our environment.
Yeah, yeah, and especially with us and with with our kids. Do you have any?
No, I don't. I don't have any that I know of.
Be careful. You will now soon. You're out there now, loud daddy. But no, it's like and that's just how I teach my kids. It's just like, they go to school, they try to learn as well as they can. I mean, they're being taught English and literature and all that stuff, to where it's just that particular heritage and background and that's what they're learning, and it's just I'm not spending enough time actually teaching them. I think I agree with you, at least with the Lao community and the Lao heritage, that it'll still be preserved, because you do have that. You have that. You have the temples. You have the Watts, and just as long as if that's around, the tradition continues. When the kids are there, and they're still going to be practicing it the same way, there's always going to be someone just like yourself that's actually going to lead them, and keep them on track, and it's staying true. And I think that's gonna be pretty rare moving forward in such a melting pot of a country that we're in right now.
For sure, dude. For sure. I mean, like, you know, traditionally, like, when I was growing up thinking about Filipinos, I was like, dude, Filipinos are either really good singers or break dancers, Like, I've never met a Filipino that wasn't good at singing. If they weren't good at singing, they were the best at breakdancing, you know? So I'm just like, that's what you assimilate the, Filipinos with growing up. But now it's just like a melting pot, to where it's like, hey, you know what? Not just them, but, like, I have a cousin that's good at breakdancing, or I have another cousin that's really good at singing. Like, or like, you have mixed children, mixed half Lao, half Filipino. They're probably going to be good at both, Who knows?
Let's hope so. They can't. I mean, maybe a couple of them are actually can carry a tune, and only one of them can really dance right now. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, see, there we go.
We'll get them into the kitchen. I want that side. I want that side for them to actually learn. Just there's like I love Lao food, and I was talking about this before with some other friends. I was like, one of the main reasons is just because you're sitting, you not even just the food, it's just the fresh vegetables that come with it. I mean, you sit there, you come through with let's say, for example, like for a papaya salad, or even like some lapkai or anything like that. It is accompanied with the biggest freaking tray of just fresh veggies, and it's just how can you not be healthy eating that type of stuff?
Right. Honestly, dude, like you get like a small bowl of just maybe like 2 eggs, but then you get like a whole tray of vegetables.
You get a huge tray of it. I was like, what in the heck? It's like, how can they afford to give me all this freaking, these veggies and everything like that? That's wild. No, I love it, man. I love it. I love what you're doing. I love that, just the story. I didn't know the story, and I'm glad we actually went into it, and how you got involved into this whole thing, and how it kind of just snowballed into what is today's Sabaidee Fest. Is only what you're going into your 3rd year. Is that what it is?
No, bro, this is just our 2nd year, dude.
Second year.
This is our 2nd year, and we're adding in so many other artists.
Yeah.
Just to I'm not saying that Filipinos out. I'm not saying Filipinos in either, but use that information how you want to. But like we got a lot in the works, man. We got a 5-year plan.
That's dope. That's dope. And it's like it's very brave, once again, and just the initiative. It takes just 1 or 2 people to start taking their own initiative, and when somebody just has that feeling that, hey, I believe we can do this. And even if you have some some negative or not so, in your case, like you had mentioned, it wasn't negative, or it wasn't like pushback. It was more like kind of do it this way or anything like that. But even then, now you guys are making waves. I commend you. I applaud you. We got to hook up. I want to see what you're doing. I want to maybe do some vlogs on what you're doing over at the temple. Maybe have my kids over there and just expose them a little bit more, because I know
you're out that way anyway, right?
Yeah, we're I'm over in Hazlet, just a little bit north of Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll hit you up. I got your number and everything like that. We need to connect. I want to be involved in what you guys are doing. In any way. I mean, I'm a pretty small channel for right now, but I want to support it as much as I can. As much as I
Ray,
can.
you the man, bro. What are you talking about?
We'll see. We'll see.
Everyone's
We'll
gonna
try
see
to push it
this.
out there. All right. So I don't want to take up much more of your time. I know you're pretty busy with your afternoon here, and you got a little bit of cleanup in some areas there. So that you had mentioned earlier, I definitely appreciate it. I don't want this to be the last time we'll have you on the show. When it gets a little bit closer, when you guys are actually ready to put out your dates and everything like that, if you can holler at me, or I'll reach out to you, and we'll put you back on. We'll do some plugs
for sure,
and get it
brother.
going, bro.
Next event I have in the DF Dub, dude. I'll hit you up. You know, you can pull out. We can hang
Please,
out and everything.
please. I want to support it, man. I love what you guys are doing. I love what you guys
for sure,
are doing,
brother.
especially that. You have any? So plug your socials. Let me know, and plug your content and everything like that. We'll keep it rolling.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so on Facebook and Instagram, it is Loud Daddy. On TikTok, by the way, about TikTok, dude, some guy stole one of my videos off my page, and now he hit over like 1 million likes on it. And I've been trying to tell him to give me credit, but he's not been replying. Yeah, but it is what it is.
So he reposted it, and now he's getting all the cred.
Yeah, he took the video down, posted it on his own, and then everyone's been commenting and telling me like, "Hey, this is Jimmy's video. This is Jimmy." But aside from that, either way, like I said, representation, get it out there. It's fine.
Yeah.
I just want the credit. But either way, on TikTok, someone already stole the name Loud Daddy, but they don't even post. So on there, it's just my name, Jimmy Saysiry.
Okay.
But if you look up Loud Daddy, you'll find it.
I'll put that up. I'll make sure this on the screen. We'll get it pushing. It just shows you're getting all the love off just that one video. And it's interesting. It's interesting this social media type of thing, and how just one thing or just a few things to make it poppin'. For you guys, again, it's accelerating. I'm excited to see, and this is just the beginning for y'all. I'm excited to see where this goes. And like I said, any way to support, let me know, and let our program know.
For sure, brother. Thank you so much, Ray. Thanks for having me on, brother.
For sure. All right. So other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. We'll see you guys in the next episode. This one is gonna be coming out I want to say during the holidays, so it'll be a nice little Christmas present to unwrap for y'all.
There we go. Love
Thank you. Peace. Thank you.